Okay, Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you all are safe and I hope you are taking enough precautions to save yourself, to save yourself from this COVID-19. And I know it's kind of difficult for all of us, but as Google Classroom, Google Meet is a nice platform where we can study and where we can interact. So I'm sharing my screen with you all so that we can quickly review what we did in the last class. So we were doing formal presentations. Let's just quickly review that what are formal presentations. We were discussing about different parts of formal presentations, what was introduction, and how you will present your information, and what are the points that are included in introduction, that how you will plan your presentation, what would be the outlining and structuring. In outlining, we discussed that yes, outlining is important, because as we are using course outlines, why we use course outlines, we use those course outlines so that we can we should know that these the content of this course would be this. So we'll be covering these points in this in this then choosing the mode of delivery, that we have read about different modes, and we should know about likes and dislikes of the audience, of our audience. If we are teaching, for instance, if we are giving presentation to old people, so we should know their interests or their likes and dislikes. And if we are giving a presentation in a formal setting, so we should know that whether cracking a joke would be a would be a good thing there or not. Then purpose, in purpose we discuss that what is the purpose behind presentation, what would be the significance of this presentation, whatever presentation you are presenting. And thesis statement, we talked about this, that if your topic is your thesis statement, your topic for your main statement for your presentation should be clear, so that whatever presentation you are giving, people, audience, they should know, okay, this is the main topic of our presentation, and they would understand it. And then we discussed that in the first example, if you'll see your screen, choosing a reputed university for higher education. Now, this they have given the statement, but statement is a bit unclear. Why it's not clear? Because we don't know why. We need to specify that why in our thesis statement, that yes, this is the reason why we have selected this thesis statement. Choosing a reputed university for higher education has 5 significant advantages. In the good example, as you can see, we have mentioned that here we'll be discussing only 5 disadvantages. And then after that, we talked about the material, supporting material, why supporting material is necessary, and what type of role supporting material will give in your presentation. Now, outlining and structuring, we discussed 3 things that includes in outlining and structuring. First one, introduction, then the main body of your presentation, and last one is conclusion. Introduction include that day we talked that in the beginning we need to greet, then we should have some mind teaser or something in the beginning of our presentation, or some picture, or anything, any quote through which you can take help from, you can grab attention of your audience. Then topic and thesis statement, yes, goes without saying, you need to introduce your topic and thesis statement so that they can understand, okay, yes, this is the topic, and this is the thesis statement, and this presentation revolves around this topic. Credibility. And credibility, if you remember, we talked about that, yes, if a presenter is very young and inexperienced, so goes without saying that the credibility would be less. But if he's experienced, is aged, he's having ample experience, then of course you can trust him, you can rely on him. Preview. Preview, if you remember, we discussed in the preview, yes, preview, we need to give preview of our presentation. Like whenever we watch dramas, they used to tell us preview. Preview means that they'll be telling us, okay, what would be coming next. So preview means you'll be talking about those points you'll be discussing in your presentations, and you'll give the preview to the audience, that Yes. Yes, in this presentation we'll be discussing these points. Rules for question answer session. It depends on the presenter, as we discussed. Yes, it's purely presenter's choice that whether if he can tell the audience, yes, you can ask questions in between the presentations, but you can, or he can say no, I would like if you'll keep your answers, if you'll write your questions and you can keep them till the end, you need to wait till the end of the presentation, and then you can ask questions at the end of the presentation. And transition means how you are going from one point to the other point of of your presentation. Then we talked about main body, that what is chronological order, how you can categorize, what would be the causes and effects, and we discussed that in cause and effect we also discussed, yes, in no, it's not necessary that in every presentation you can share cause and effects. And the solution of the problem, if we're talking about uh, uh, women empowerment, so what would be the solution of the problem? And supporting material, whatever material you are using for the support, supporting material further includes definition, examples, statistics, analogies, and testimony. Okay. Then we discuss conclusion and modes of delivery. If you have any query in these points, in these modes, or anything you are unable to understand, you can just send me an email and I can answer you, or I can sort out your issues. Today we will start. We have done half of the half of the guidelines for effective delivery, but in the last class we were discussing smooth flow, and half of the points of the smooth flow they were discussed. For example, what was the bridge between one bridge is moving from one idea from one direction to the other direction of the presentation. Then number items, and then we discussed interjunctions. Today we'll discuss what is internal summary. Internal summary of any presentation is known as uh, you'll be telling whatever you're doing. Internal summary means uh, uh, you'll be giving summary to the internal summary to your audience, and you will tell them that yes, um, internal summary, that so far we have done these things, and now we are moving towards the next point. Internal preview means you, before going to the next point, you will just give them a preview. Okay, now we are changing our direction and we are moving to the next point. Signpost is basically where you tell in your presentation that where you stand in your presentation. For instance, if you'll say the fourth disadvantage of this thing is this, that means you are talking about, now you have discussed first three disadvantages and now you're talking about the fourth one. So it tells the position that where you stand in your presentation, how much presentation is done, and how much part is left. Rhetorical questions are those questions which we basically, the purpose of these questions is not to seek for answers. The purpose of these questions is to just provoke a thought in audience mind by saying, do you know how it will affect our country? Such questions where you're not demanding answers, you're just telling them that you should think about this. If this thing would happen, then what will happen, right? For instance, as teacher, I used to ask you people, okay, have you ever heard this word before? So here I'm just there is a question. I have asked the question, but the purpose of that particular question is not to get answers from the students, but the purpose is to provoke a thought, so that students, they may think, okay, I have never heard about this, but I have heard about this, right? So such type of question where the presenter is not seeking for the answers. Then Flashback. During your presentation, if you'll give the reference from the past, for instance, you are saying that when you are saying that we're going back to, as we discussed earlier in our presentation, that the effects of women empowerment or effects of this thing, effects of internet or whatsoever, yeah, internet is having destructive effect on children mind. So these type of, so when you'll say, as we have discussed earlier, so you are referring past, and when you're talking about past, so that is known as flashback. List. Now list, it could be list of anything you are mentioning, you are giving any list in your presentation, that is known as list. You know what is list, and if you have you have your course packs, they have given all the details. But list, for instance, you are listing down five disadvantages, one, two, three, four. Now you are giving the list, right? Or you are giving the list that boys responses, boys respond to this thing in that way, and girls, their response was different. Physical movement, yeah, physical movement is one of the most important thing during a presentation. Your physical movement tells that how confident you are, and in what direction you are taking your presentation, and you are interacting with people, you are having proper eye contact with people. So people, they don't like those presenters who used to restrict themselves restrict themselves, and who used to stand for a longer period in front of dyes, and they're not moving here and there. No, the physical movement doesn't mean that you should go at the back and then you're presenting. That means you need to move from it's not necessary that you have to stand in front of rostrum, and then you'll keep on standing there holding the dice or rostrum. If you need to move around so that you can make eye contact, you can contact with the audience, you can take their points, you can communicate. Non-verbal communication would be more effective if you'll physically move. Then quotation and jokes, you have seen in the past, many times we have observed this thing, that mostly people, they'll start their presentation by using some effective quotations, or with help of a joke, right? Or with something like that, which will attract, or in between the presentation. It's not necessary that you can use the quote in the beginning, or you can just crack a joke, but you need to choose the quotations and jokes. You have to keep this thing in your mind, that whether what in whatever scenario we are giving the presentation, that scenario uh, is okay. Is it okay that we can use joke there, or we can this quotation is appropriate for this particular purpose? You need to choose it wisely. And then moving on to the next point, that is non-verbal elements. Yes, one of the major things in your presentation is non-verbal elements. If we'll talk about your teachers, you have observed one thing, that our teachers, they used to tell us, yes, you have to come in a formal, you need to dress up formally, so that you can and we'll be grading you for your dressing. Why it's important? Because if we're not looking, we need to look formal, because we're talking about formal presentations. So when we are formal, we need to, personal hygiene is very important. Your dressing sense, your accessories, whether you're looking a lot of, you are looking very loud, whether you're looking okay. Then your facial expressions, it they count. People, they judge you by your facial, by your physical appearance. Your facial expressions, they are very important. Then people will, it's okay, it's very good if you'll maintain eye contact, but there is a difference between eye contact and staring. If you are maintaining eye contact with people, and you are looking you are looking at, you know, you know how to maintain eye contact, but you keep continuously, you are staring one person, that means you are nervous, and it won't be having good impact, right? Then well-timed gestures, Avoid monotonous gestures, right? Make giving the same gesture again and again. So you should know that at this time this gesture would be appropriate or fair enough or good, or it's not, right? Stand tall and straight with shoulders upright. Walk, move swiftly. Of goes without saying, when you're confident, you'll stand straight. You'll stand, your shoulders will be upright, right? Like this. And when you're nervous, you can't give your presentation like this. So you have to be confident so that the audience, they would understand, they'll feel good about the presenter, right? Vocal elements. Now, vocal elements, as I told you that in the previous slide we read about non-verbal elements. Vocal elements are very important. Sometimes we ऐसा होता है कि हम कहते हैं कि we like to talk to that person. Why? Because we like his voice modulation or the way he speaks. It counts a lot, right? Speak with enthusiasm and sincerity. Yes, you need to show little excitement when when you're about to start your presentation. And uh, we need to take small pauses in between the presentations, because I have seen in the past that people, when I was in university and I was in school, I don't like those teachers who used to give lecture in a way, who used to speak very fast, and they used to give their lectures very fast. So half of the words, I thought that, I used to think that they eat up their words, right? So we should avoid fast delivery. We should utter every single word properly so that the audience, they would understand. And we should take small pauses in between so that the audience, they would know, okay, the first sentence is finished and now they're moving towards the second sentence. Adjust the volume of your voice. Yes. Biologically, by the grace of God, He has given us audible voices, and we should know, as human beings, we should know that how we can adjust the volume of our voice. Right? We cannot scream or yell for the purpose of so that we can people so that people can hear us, so that people can listen us. But what we can do, we can adjust the volume that is audible and not offensive, because when you're screaming or yelling, that would be offensive. So there's difference between audible and yelling. Use silence and pauses effectively. As I said earlier, that yes, silence is very important. It's a very important weapon. So it's important for us to understand that, for us to use silence, where the audience can, when you take a pause, audience would understand that yes, the first sentence is finished and now they are moving towards the second sentence. Avoid monotonous or vocalized pauses. Vocalized pauses are those pauses, for instance, if you are presenting and you are saying again and again, uh, mm, and so these are vocalized poses where you are making sounds, making sounds, and where you're facing problems in delivering your presentation. So instead of saying and then repetitive or vocalized poses, they won't give positive impact to the listeners. Articulate each word clearly. Utter every single word clearly so that audience, they would able to understand what you are saying. Use your most favorable pitch. Yes, as I told you that you should be audible, but you shouldn't scream or yell, that it because it will give very negative impact. So audible is something else and yelling is something else. I hope all the points are clear so far, but I'm available all the time. You can text me, you can email me wherever you'll face any query. Now let's move to the visual elements. Visual elements, they are very important a very important part for any presentation, because if we are elder, if we are kids, whatever age group we fall in, pictures, they attract us. it's human nature that yes, pictures, they do attract us. So visual elements, if your slides are completely empty and there's no visual element, so the impact wouldn't be that much fruitful. So what you can do, add pictures, but the excess of everything is bad. You shouldn't use a lot of pictures that there is no written text and the whole system. Yes, use pictures after every alternative slide. You can use a picture, but relevant to your topic. Then, as you can see on the slide, they have written that visual stimuli are more effective than verbal stimuli. Yes, the impact, whatever we'll see from our eye, its impact is far, far, far better than whatever we'll hear. So, yes, it's very important to add pictures so that it has different advantages. First advantage is attention. You can grab attention of your audience. Then second advantage is you can indulge them in your presentation. Rather, if your slides are all empty and and they are not attracted towards the slides, then there's no use of presentation. Yes, and then last point, if you'll see the last point they have written, we often recall the color of the cover of a book rather than its title and subtitle. Yes. If you'll ask me, or if you normally human beings, our minds are trained in this way that yes, we forget the name of the book, title of the book, but yes, we'll say, oh, you remember I put my yellow book there. What was the name of that book, right? So we know the color, yellow and green book, that orange book with the black writing. It was I placed that book there on the shelf and I can't find it. So you know the colors, but most of the time you forget whatever the title is. So impact of, as I said earlier, whatever we'll see from our naked eye, its impact would be far better than whatever we'll listen. I hope things are clear, pretty much easy, because you people have been making several slides and you have given several presentations in the past. So it's just, you can say it's just we are recalling what our presentations and how we can polish our presentation skills. Then controlling nervousness and stage fright, it's one of the major thing during presentation. And if you'll see the slide, I have mentioned different symptoms, um, which shows that you are nervous, or which shows that yes, you are having stage fright. First of all, racing heart. Whenever we feel nervous or when we are scared, the first thing that happens to human beings is racing heart. Racing heart. Sweating whenever we are overworked, whenever we are nervous, we are stressed, then sweating. Dry throat, dry mouth, dry throat, it happens because of nervousness. Shaky hands and legs, yes, it happened every time when I was student. When I started giving presentations in the beginning, I used to have this problem. I used to mumble a lot, and I used my hands, they used to shake, and they were pretty obvious. People, they used to see, okay, now this girl is nervous, right? Blinking eyes, when you're blinking your eyes a lot, it shows that yes, you are nervous. Or when you are rubbing your hands again and again, for instance, if a person is nervous, he'll do this, right? I'm nervous. Okay, this is again, it's a sign that you are nervous or you're having stage fright. Then knocking knees and paining back, yes, it happens with different people. It's not necessary that every single person would be having back pain, but yes, when you are nervous, maybe you'll have pain in your stomach, or you'll be having pain in your back, or maybe you'll feel that your shoulders, they have been stretched, or you're having burden here, right? That means that you are nervous or you're having stage fright, loss of memory. Yes, it happens, and I have seen people, everything was going okay when they are presenting, they are standing on the stage, they are standing in front of the dais, they're presenting it really well, but suddenly loss of memory. Loss of memory, there could be many reasons, because you're nervous, a lot of things are going on in your body. Maybe you're having maybe your heart is maybe your mouth is dry, maybe you are thinking a lot, maybe it could be anything. And due to that nervousness, you'll forget what you will say, or why you are standing there, right? So loss of memory, I have seen people in the past, including myself. When I started giving presentations, it happened once or twice that I forgot few points, major points of my presentation, and after finishing the presentation, I came to know, oh my god, I didn't explain this point, and this point was very much important for my presentation. So these are the symptoms, and today we'll study how we can control our stage fright or nervousness. And if we are able to do that, then that means we are a good presenter. So it will help us to become a good presenter. Strategies in advance of presentations. Now few strategies you need to know about, a few strategies which you can use in before starting the presentation, then in between the presentation, and the last one is by the end of the presentation. So first one is develop an interest in the topic of your presentation. Right, you need to take interest in your own topic of presentation. You should know how you can develop interest, audience interest in your presentation. If you will not feel good about your presentation, how you can develop interest in audience? It's not going to happen, right? You need to think positively about your presentation, so that if you won't think positively, goes without saying, you cannot develop interest in audience. Reserve educate time for preparation. Yes, if you are right, we there if you're so perfect, there's always room for improvement. So if you're a very good presenter, but it's always important that if you'll prepare yourself beforehand, you need to rehearse your presentation, because you never know what type of audience are sitting there, what type of questions they'll ask. So you should have you we as presenter, you should always have plan B, right? Reserve educate time for preparation means you need to prepare your presentation beforehand. You should, if you'll be presenting your presentation day after tomorrow, so you should have at least 2 days for practice, and you should know that these 2 days I'll be practicing my presentation twice or thrice whatsoever. Anticipate easy as well as hard questions and try to work out your answers. Goes without saying, you should know beforehand. As I told you, we should have plan B. So you should think about your presentation, and you should think about the audience. Maybe they can raise this question, right? They can ask this question, they can ask this question, so you should have list of questions. You can prepare list of questions. Okay, they can ask this question, I do, and then you need to ask yourself, do I have answers of all these questions? Now here you need to think out of the box. You cannot say I have prepared the presentation, whatever whatever question they'll ask, I'll cope up with that question then and there, I'll see what I can do. Right, no, it's not gonna happen. You need to understand, because it would be very embarrassing. You are presenting a presentation on a topic, and you have questions you are unable to answer. It would be embarrassing. Right, moving on to the next. Practice your opening statement. If your opening statement is good, then your start audience are liking your start, that oh my god, what a nice start. That means his presentation or her presentation would be interesting. Then on he said that, you know what, what how you Shelva, how you used to start your class? So I told him, sir, I used to say assalamu alaikum everyone, and today our topic is this. So he told me that I never said assalamu alaikum everyone, and today our topic is this and that. He used to tell me that I said, once I was standing in the class and I began my lecture by saying assalamu alaikum students, you know what, I took 1.5 hour just to get ready for you all. So all the students, they stopped working and they were looking like him. Oh, why, sir? Why you got up early, and why you have like, why you took 1.5 hour for getting ready, and why you are saying that you got ready for us? So sir told us, told them that because my students, they'll be watching me uh, whole day, and I'm here for my students, so I'm getting ready for my students. Now his starting statement, his opening statement was very interesting. It was good, different, rather saying assalamu alaikum, I am here. Yes, in formal presentations you should know, you should learn that after greetings what type of opening statement you will use, right? Once I was taking training with my teachers, and they gave us different case studies, and I still remember in different case studies, every the last group was one of my colleagues, he was in that group, and the last group, he started the presentation. It was a case study about a girl that she was having different options for getting married, but the last option, last case study was that she should stay single and she should focus on her work. So the opening statement for that scenario, one of my colleagues, he said, assalamu alaikum everyone, so that girl, हमारी तरफ से ये शादी नहीं हो सकती. When he said this, so the opening statement was interesting. All the teachers, those who were sitting in the training session, they left their things and they started looking at him, and then he started his presentation, right? So opening statement, जितनी आपकी opening statement interesting होगी, but keep in mind the scenario. If it's very formal, you have to be very formal. Rehearse your entire presentation at least twice. Yeah, I told you, if you're so perfect, you're so pro, at least twice it's important, because if you're pro, then it's just a piece of cake for you. You'll do it just like seconds. Then strategies, just before the presentation, have a small delivery. Good thing, if you're giving a presentation in any scenario, you should there phones that you can take around of the venue, and you can see, okay, and if what is the venue, how and where I'm supposed to stand, things like whether flash to the screen, or is there any problem, internet connection is all right. If you'll see the participant, try to communicate with the participants, because it will help you to, it will decrease your nervousness, right? Say hello, how are you, so that you can decrease your nervousness. Yes, never ever have full glass of water when you're standing in front of a bunch of people. Don't do this. That is the sign of nervousness. You should have water. I'm not saying that you will just stand there and you shouldn't have water. No, it's not gonna happen. You should have water. Stand there, have water, and but have it in few sips. Like sip by sip, you should have water, so that you can keep your throat hydrated, yourself hydrated, and it won't show that yes, you're nervous or you're having stage fright. Then take the round of the venue wherever you're supposed to present the presentation. Concentrate on your ideas. Yes, think positive. Concentrate on the ideas you will be presenting in front of the audience, rather thinking negatively. No, I cannot present. Maybe this presentation wouldn't be that much good for me. I cannot explain the way I should. Think positive, because when we think positive, we'll have the positive results. Strategies when the presentations begins, where, as I told you, that you need to think positive, feel good about your presentation. If you yourself is not feeling good about your presentation, do you think that the people, they would feel good about your presentation? No, they won't like it. They think that, okay, this presentation, the person, the presenter himself is nervous, and he's making weird he's having weird facial expressions, he's making weird So feel good about your presentation. Then when you will feel good about your presentation, your if your productivity is that much, it will be that much, right? So if you're thinking negative, so your productivity is that much, then you'll present at this level. So you should keep this thing in your mind. Do not begin immediately or in hurry, right? Don't say, okay, assalamu alaikum everyone, today our topic is this and today we'll do this. It would be having negative impact. So if you want, in as it said earlier, first point is your opening statement should be attractive, should be interesting, so that you can grab attention. Yes, the third point, if your legs are shaky, hold the dice. Yes, I did it. I did this thing in the past when I was in my bachelor's. During my first presentation, I was very nervous. So what I did, I held the dice tightly, and my legs were shaking at that time. But I held the dice tightly, and I pretended that nothing is happening to me, and I'm quite confident. But with the passage of time, I overcome all those things. The audience may not realize your nervousness as much as you feel it. Yes. Sorry. If you're having sweating, or if you are having full cup of, full glass of water, goes without saying, the audience, they'll understand, yes, you are nervous. Or if you're rubbing your hands by doing this, or if you're biting your nails, then it goes without saying, they'll understand that yes, this presenter is nervous. So don't feel your nervousness until or unless you won't feel it, people won't feel it. The more you feel it, the more people will feel it. Do not show explicit signals such as clearing clearing thought. That is clearing thought. Now this is the way how you can clear your thought, and this gives a very negative impact. Just little sips so that you can keep yourself hydrated, rather holding the glass and having the full glass of water. Weeping your forehead again and again, you're feeling sweating, you are having sweating, and you are just weeping your forehead. It would be having a very negative impact. While rehearsing or that, yes, audience are sitting there and people are, it's just you